up everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Stephany Rene here, and today I'm very excited because we are doing another edition of the Lazy Girl's Guide. Today I'm going to show you guys the Lazy Girl's Guide to planning your wedding without going crazy. And that's because it is officially the start of engagement season. So I went into my planning of my wedding completely blind. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. So I sat down and done quite a few notes for you guys about like my top 10 tips for planning your wedding with the least amount of panic attacks possible. So without further ado, let's go ahead get started. All right, so let's jump right into this. I hope you guys don't mind. I have my little notebook down in front of me because I wanted to make sure that I remembered all of my top 10 tips. So first things first, my number one tip is to create a separate email address for all things wedding related. And you may think, gosh, well, that's like, you know, that's not too handy. Well, trust me, it is, because you would be surprised the amount of things that can get lost in your junk folder. Trust me, personal experience here. This is something I didn't think of until it was too late, and I really wish that I would have done this day one. There's nothing, seriously, there's nothing more nerve-wracking than missing a deadline with a possible vendor contract. That almost happened to us where I was just shy, I think, of like a day or two of not submitting. I think they needed like a final count or something like that, and I did not think they had sent it to me, and they actually had. It had just automatically gone into my junk trash folder, and I almost missed out and messed up one of our vendor contracts. So please, 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 my number one tip, create a separate email account for all things wedding related, because trust me, it will help you and make things so much easier in the long run. All right, my number two tip is that now that you have your designated email account, I would stop this video right now, pause me, open up a new tab, and go create a theknot.com account. It's free. You can create your wedding website through it. You can find vendors for everything from calligraphy to videography to officiants, to you can find wedding dress boutiques on there. You can find everything on there with tons of reviews, which reviews are very important. I found this to be the best resource for me because I was, like I said earlier, totally clueless going into this. I spent 40 bucks on this super official wedding planner, which was like top rated. The girl in Barnes & Noble was like, this is our most popular, it's always sold out, everybody who has it loves it, yada yada yada. I got it, and it was not that great. I definitely got more use out of my theknot.com website, because in addition to being able to create your registry through it, being able to create your wedding website through it, also whenever you are set on a date, you can go in there and enter in your wedding date, and it will give you a week by week to-do list. That thing was a lifesaver for me. It really, really helped me discover things that I had no idea would even be something I needed to plan. And in addition to that, it like gave me a little, you know, checkbox. And if I was like, oh, I don't even know what that is, there was like a little drop down button, and it would explain tips and tricks and have all these helpful links with like reviews and suggested vendors, and like all around, you guys, freaking awesome. So don't waste your money on a wedding planner book unless you guys are just the type of people that like to take pen to paper. I get that. I'm a list person. I have a dozen notebooks laying around at all times. But this, in terms of the week by week breakdown, the wedding website, all of that stuff was so much more useful than a traditional wedding planner book. All right, tip number 3. Now that you have your designated email account and your brand new free theknot.com account, if you got all of those things and you were like me and you never really thought of your dream wedding, you had never really planned as a little girl like all of the things that you wanted in your dream wedding. I was not that person. I was not that girl. I'll tell you guys right now, my husband knows, his family knows, my family knows. I never wanted to get married. I never thought or imagined that life for myself, so I had never really had dreams about, oh, my dress is gonna be like this, and oh, I'm gonna be married at this venue, and oh, these are my colors. I never had that. So my tip number 3 is, if you would like me, go and create a free Pinterest board with all things wedding related in it, because trust me, you guys, this was so helpful. And I finally, after about a week, maybe a week and a half, I started to get a real vibe about what my style was, what type of wedding I wanted, and it was so helpful. Okay, tip number 4. Also, now that you've got your designated email, your knot.com, your Pinterest board, it's time to go ahead, and this is gonna sound crazy, but go ahead and start searching for your videographer, your photographer, and your hair and makeup. This was something that I didn't think was as important as selecting like caterer and venue and finding the dress and all of that. I did not think that important, so I waited, and I kick myself in the butt every time I think about it. I waited until we were about 4 months out before I started really looking for that kind of stuff. And let me tell you, not a smart idea. I definitely learned, but seriously, if I can help any of you guys out there, go ahead and do that, especially like hair and makeup. Maybe photography and videography, you think, okay, well, I've already gotten that done. That's something I did within the first 2-3 months of getting engaged. But there's a lot of people like me out there that never thought that would be as important, but trust me, it is, because those particular types of vendors, especially in the day and age of like social media and all that stuff, people want top-notch photography and they want top-notch videography, and they gotta have their hair and their makeup on point. So that kind of stuff, believe it or not, is booked sometimes up to 2 years in advance. Luckily, I was able to find somebody, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that I had a panic attack while I was looking, because I kid you guys not, I probably emailed and reached out to 10 different hair and makeup artists, 10 different photographers, and about 5 different videographers, and every single one of them apologized and were so sweet, but they were already booked up to a year ago. All right, tip number 5 is your guest list. Now, this can get really dramatic and can cause some arguments really quick, unless you and your fiance are on the same page, or if someone's got a huge family and someone doesn't, or if both of you have a huge family. The guest list is one of those things you need to start hammering out ASAP, because all of that also kind of depends on the vendors you reach out to. You want to have all of those details hammered out, that way you can get exact estimates and keep that budget in check, because weddings are expensive and you want to keep it in check. So what I would recommend, and this is what my husband and I did, we Googled or Pinterest, I think I actually found it on Pinterest, I'll put it somewhere on the page. We actually found this really handy dandy guest list flowchart, and pretty much the gist of it is it's to help you figure out who to invite. For instance, your 5th cousin twice removed on your uncle's side, who you've never really met in person and you've only ever seen them in Christmas cards, doesn't need to be invited to your wedding. And at the time, all of that can seem really harsh, especially if you have a big family. You're like, oh my God, like how can I not invite this person? Well, think about it. Would they invite you to their wedding? Did they invite you to their wedding? Is it worth paying 50 bucks a head for that, or 30 bucks a head, or sometimes 80 bucks a head? Because trust me, weddings can get expensive. You want to keep things strict and not necessarily harsh, but you just want to be strict with your budget and strict with your guest list, because a lot of money goes into weddings, and the more people you invite, the more expensive it gets. All right, you guys, so tip number 6, I would highly suggest, if you are a budget conscious bride, which I mean, I think the majority of us are to some extent, at least you have some number to stick to, unless you're the really lucky one who has a limited budget and can hire like David Tutera and all that crap. Good for you, send me pictures. But if you were like me and more budget conscious and had a number you had to stick to because that was it, then I would highly recommend checking out Facebook. Check out Facebook Marketplace and see if your county or your area that you live in has a buy, sell, trade, or free wedding website. I was very, very lucky in our area. Our county had a buy, sell, trade free wedding website, and in addition to like just buying, selling, and trading and all of that stuff, there was tons of brides on there who were just like me, just trying to figure it out. They would pass such good questions, such good advice. There was always someone online to help you, to recommend vendors. Great way to figure things out and to get stuff discounted. And in addition to that stuff being slightly used, when your wedding's over and you've got stuff you need to sell, you can sell it right back, and the people on there will be like snatching it up like crazy because people are getting married all year long. So seriously, check it out. All right, so tip number 7 is marriage counseling. You're probably like, what? That was my reaction to it because I'd never heard of it. I don't think my husband had ever heard of it either, but the guy that was marrying us, our officiant, he required it, and he basically told us, I'm not marrying you guys until we do marriage counseling. And at the time, not offended, but just slightly taken aback because I was like, well, we've been together for a while and we've been engaged for a while. We know we want to get married. Why do we need this? But in the end, you guys, it was so great and such an asset for our future marriage. And I know a lot of people think that marriage counseling is just a Christian thing, and it doesn't always necessarily have to be. You can do it through your church, but then there are some options where it's just non-denominational or just more a therapeutic kind of route. That's kind of more so the way we took it. We had a book to read, both of us had to read, and then we also had 2 workbooks that we went through, and we would have weekly FaceTimes with our officiant. He asked some really good questions, and the workbook had some great material in it that just really hammered out all of the things that could possibly come up. Like, for instance, you wouldn't think that a source of argument for married couples would be where you spend the holiday and what the expectations are, household things and budget and finances. It really helped Jordan and I get on the same page and learn, okay, we're doing this as a unit, we're doing this as a team, and we've got to make sure at all times that we are on the same page. That way there's no way of arguments and little like resentment and bickering and all of that stuff. Let's just make sure right now we're on the same page with this. That way when stuff comes up, we're good to go. And tip number 8, I would highly recommend hiring a day of wedding planner. But looking back, I wish I would have hired a day of wedding planner because they're actually not that expensive and it's not that bad, and it's a good investment because the stress level the day of, for me anyway, was insane because we had so much going on. I had so many people pulling me in different directions, and I hadn't eaten in like 3 days because my nerves were a wreck. I was exhausted because I wasn't sleeping, and it's like I was trying to do all of this myself, and I wish that I would have hired a day of wedding coordinator because then I could have just stepped back and really enjoyed my day. I did really enjoy my day. Don't let them think that. Like, it was amazing. It was perfect. I wouldn't have wanted it any other way, but I just wish that I would have had somebody there to help with things because I did dedicate, like, one of my family members volunteered to help us the day of, and she was great. She did an amazing job. But I feel bad now because I feel like maybe she didn't really get to enjoy the day as much because she was stressed. And like, I just think as a whole, as a family, everybody is coming together to celebrate you guys becoming one. So in the end, it's important for everybody to be full on and enjoying the experience. So I would highly recommend hiring a day of wedding coordinator. All right, tip number 9. We're almost finished, you guys. And this is very important, and I've got a really funny story about this, but I would really recommend you guys asking your caterer to pack you like a little basket or a little plate or a little lunchbox or whatever, and make sure people put it in your getaway cart because it is true what they say. You never really get to eat on your wedding day. And I was a nervous wreck, so that morning I didn't really eat. That afternoon I didn't really eat. I don't honestly know how I didn't pass out because I didn't really get to eat the entire day. I think I had 1 bite of everything because although we had our own table, we had the sweetheart table, people were coming up to us wanting to congratulate us, and then we also had to go out and mingle with the people who were coming from out of town and go from table to table. Here's the funny story for you. Our caterer did pack us a little box without me even having to ask. It didn't get put in the getaway car. So when we got home, we were like, wait, we don't have anything to eat. Oh my God, we're starving. So we went out in our wedding gear, my husband in his tux, me in our wedding dress. We went through the McDonald's drive-thru because it was like midnight. That was the only thing open around here. And you guys, the people in the drive-thru were so cute. Like, they were geeking out. They're like, did you guys just get married? Oh my God, we'll give you some free ice cream. And they gave us like a McFlurry and a milkshake and an ice cream cone. And like, they really just like, they hooked us up. So if that's something you want to do, you want free McDonald's on your wedding day, go for it. But like, I would have much rather had our wedding food. But you know, you live and you learn. At least now I know maybe this will help you guys out some, but oh my God, it was hilarious. If I should have recorded it because their face when they saw us pull up was priceless. All right, and now for tip number 10, which I'm sure you guys have heard everywhere before, is to just go ahead, sit down and accept the fact that there are gonna be bumps along the way, and that's okay. Like, everybody's journey to getting married is different. Everybody's day of getting married is different, but there will be bumps along the way, and that's okay. That's part of the process. Just roll with it. Just roll with the punches, because all that matters truly is that at the end of the day, you're going to be married to the person you love, and you're going to get to spend the rest of your life, hopefully, the rest of your life with the person that you love more than anything in the world. And you get to grow old with this person, and at the end of the day, you're gonna say I do, you're gonna exchange rings, and that's gonna be it. And that's all that matters. That's it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. It was something a little different and something I feel like will be very, very helpful for you guys who are frantically out there planning your wedding. Trust me, I know how you feel. That was me a year ago. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe down below and turn on their little notification bell so you'll be notified for Thursday's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this next installment into the Lazy Girls Guide, and if you guys have any more suggestions about what you would like to see in the Lazy Girl Guide series, then please let me know down below. Peace out.